Hey, what is up guys, GuitarRock here, welcome back to another NIKKE Goddess of Victory video. If you guys are not aware, they just released Little Mermaid's skill kit, and then we're gonna have a look at it together and give you guys my thoughts about it as well, right? Because she's going to be the half anniversary pilgrim. Now keep in mind, there will be two characters, alright? Not just Little Mermaid, but we're gonna have Mihara Overspec as well coming later. So if you are not satisfied with her skill kit, then perhaps you might have to consider waiting, because both of them will have different roles. Little Mermaid right here, she is going to be a supporter. She's a burst one as well, and as you can see right there, that's going to be her full burst. So I wouldn't expect too much out of her, but again, we're gonna dive into the skill kit after this and have a look at it together. Okay, so as you can see right here, this is going to be her skill kit, the entire thing. Alright, she is going to be, like I mentioned, burst 1, supporter, submachine gun, and wind. Alright, so I'm going to make some comparisons between her and a few other characters as well as we go on with this. Hopefully give you guys a better idea of what she can do. So with that, now a submachine gun is going to be quite unique. That means she's going to be in the same realm of Little and the gang, but she has a pretty decent multiplier right there as well, so not too bad right there, right? But what is important is about her element. Her being wind, that means, like usually for supporter it doesn't really matter that much, alright? But I feel like she can also be a little bit of a sub DPS. Now that's going to be dependent on how much damage she can do and output by herself overall. Now as you can see right here, her skill 1, her passive skill, alright, activates when in focusing, so affects all allies. Now focus fire, this is going to be very interesting, right? That means she most likely will be able to apply focus fire regardless of whether you are bursting or not. So I think that's pretty cool, and that's going to basically give you an advantage if you're trying to destroy her parts, you know, or something faster than you should. Now the downside is maybe like in when you're shooting the red circles, where sometimes you don't want your rocket launcher to shoot, right? But you can also take cover at the same time, so try to elevate that by having your other NIKKEs taking cover so that she's the only one firing, or only one NIKKE is firing, right? But here's the cool thing, right? She has CDR. Now I think this is going to be very, very cool. 7.48%. This is going to be the highlight of her kit. Now this 7.48%, it's decent, alright? So comparatively, if you look at other burst 1 CDR, for example, we got a Rouge, right? Everybody knows a Rouge 1 is going to be 7 seconds right here. So as you can see, hers is a little bit better. We also have characters like D Killer Wife, which also has CDR in her kit, and D Killer Wife's one is going to be, I think, around 7 seconds as well at level 10, right? Mine is not level 10 yet for this skill. Now activates when entering full burst, affects all allies. So she got an attack damage right here for 4%. Very, very cool. So this means that whenever you enter full burst, 4% increase in attack damage is going to be what she's going to provide. And one more thing is, activates every time total ammo consumed by allies reaches 400. So affects all allies. So she's gonna have the ability to fill burst gauge by 37%. Now another character that have a similar skill kit to her, so Grave has this, as you can see right here, 38, almost 39%. Alright, burst gauge filling speed right there. Alright, this is going to be at level 10 as well. So if you look at that, it's quite comparable again. 37%, 39%, really, really comparable. So she's going to have something that another character in the game has. And I wonder if you can stack both of them. If you can, that will be quite cool. That means you are going to be able to burst way more often, and it's going to be quite interesting. But looking at the ammo requirements right here, where she has to reach certain number, you might have to pair her with machine gun as opposed to other types of guns, right? So that's going to be for skill 1. Overall, so far not bad. Skill 2, now she has an ability to increase damage taken by 5%. Now this 5% is going to be very, very interesting. So notice it says here, when enemy appears, right? Affects the target. Now this is going to be very, very interesting because the skill description right here is going to be quite different compared to some characters. One, for example, like Viper has something very similar, where hers is when the target appears, right? Specifically, I think it's mentioned right here. This is going to be the one. Activates when the target appears. Affects all allies. But hers is activate when the enemy appears. So I'm not sure if this is going to be applicable in PvP as well or not. Because for Viper's one, it's only going to affect the boss most likely, alright, which is the main target. So if the minions appear, it doesn't affect them. But I think this one is going to affect all of the enemy that appears regardless, right? Now if you land 50 normal attacks, the target in the bubble status, which you are going to be able to do when they appear, is going to get another 5% continuously. Alright, stuns for 3 seconds and removes the bubble. Now so far, this is going to be the damage taken it doesn't add up. It's the 5%, you remove the previous one, and then you get another 5%. So she's gonna have a 5% damage taken amplification, which is not bad. But if you look at the value compared to other Nikkes, I just want to bring you guys to some attention right here, right? So if you talk about damage taken, Blanc is going to be the one that everybody is going to talk about, right? So if you look at Blanc's one, Blanc has really high right here, 35% damage taken for 10 seconds. Alright, now keep in mind, this is 10 seconds. And then we have another character, for example, Swimsuit Rosanna. Again, she's a limited character, but she also have a very similar skill kit right here. Damage taken increased by 29% for 10 seconds. Now, for Little Mermaid right here, we have 5%, but this is continuously. That means it's going to last the entire battle rather than only during bursts. So I do think that this might be, in the long run, this is probably going to be on par with those other numbers that we see from Blanc and Swimsuit Rosanna, but that's going to be something they will have to test, right? Because this is going to mean that this is permanent as opposed to every time when you burst for 10 seconds only. Now the stun is going to be interesting as well. Not sure how useful that is, because stun is going to be something that I'm not sure if it can affect bosses or not. It's also going to be dependent on the bosses as well, right? Some boss you don't really need to stun them. So activates every 1 second during full burst, affects random enemies. So deal 63.36% of final attack as damage. Attack sequentially 4 times. Alright, this is pretty cool. Similar to Cinderella's ultimate, sequentially means that you can hit 4 times. If there's only one enemy, you will hit the same one enemy 4 times. Very strong if you're fighting one boss, but if there's a lot of enemy on the map, it might not be as prominent, right? Now activates each time total ammo consumed by allies reaches 500. Affects random enemy units. Bubble Barrage, alright, deals 85% of final attacks damage and attacks sequentially for 10 times. Again, this is going to be very strong. If there's one enemy on the map, that means you can multi-hit them multiple times. But if there's plenty of enemies, it's going to hit them randomly. You can't really control who to hit. That's going to be how it is, right? This is how the skill works. Now skill 3. Alright, the burst skill rather. She's a 20 seconds cooldown, burst 1. Now she's going to have another attack damage right here. Alright, 10% right here. So that means on the skill 1, we already have 4% right there. So plus this one is going to be 14%, right? And then she can also reload 33.26% of magazine. Now this reload 33.26% of magazine, you might think like this is pretty good, right? On machine gun characters, this is pretty good, and it is really good. But we already have one character that can do that, and she is very strong if you pair her with machine gun characters, and that is going to be Noah. Alright, Noah already has that ability. If you guys are not aware, you look at this particular skill right here, skill 2, reloads 36.8% magazine. This is at skill level 8. We're already getting 36.87%, whereas for Siren, she's getting 33%, which is a little bit less, not the highest so far. And then you can last but not least is the attack. She's gonna have 17.28% of caster's attack for 10 seconds right here. Alright, so she is going to have that particular one leaning towards that's going to be the total buff in terms of the attack buff, right? Now if you think about it, right, let's list down all the things that she can do. I think like if you look at the buffs overall, it might seem unimpressive because right now this is all the things that she can do, right? So she has 7.5 seconds CDR, alright? She can fill burst gauge 37%. Now there's an asterisk right there because it requires you to reach a certain requirements of ammo, right? 400 ammo consumed by allies. Again, doable for sure. Stuns 3 seconds, 5% damage taken, again, 14% attack damage, and the 17.28% caster's attack boost. So let's just bring these two into the highlight first, right? I'm going to like push this down, and we're just gonna talk about these two for now, right? I can see why some players think that she is bad, or some players have the perception that she is bad due to these two numbers right here. And let me clarify a little bit. Another character that we have that was last year's anniversary literally was Crown. If you compare to Crown, this number is going to seem extremely measly. Now first up is the 17.28% caster's attack boost. So that's going to be pretty much how much attack boost she has. Now Crown is going to give you 64% caster's attack. Way higher, right? In terms of the multiplier, 17 and 64%, big difference, right? In terms of 14% attack damage boost, which is what Siren has, Crown will be able to give you 20% right here, alright? And then another 36% right here. So 36% plus 20%, that's like 50% attack damage boost. Whereas compared to Crown, she only gives 14% attack damage boost. You can see why these two numbers, when you compare to Crown, I think Crown just, her number is way more insane, right? So I can see why, from the perspective of just looking at the numbers itself, people are going to say that Siren is a bit lackluster, alright? She might be a bit lacking in terms of her buffs. But then again, she has all of these other things, which again, CDR is pretty cool, alright? There's a lot of characters that already has that. She is going to add to the addition of that as well. The Fuse Burst Gauge is going to be pretty cool, but again, she is going to require another type of character, which is going to be probably be machine gun character, because you are going to need to consume a bunch of ammo. So she has these two requirements right here, right? 400 ammo consumed by allies is going to fill a burst gauge by 37%, and if 500 ammo consumed by allies will basically do random attack to 10 random enemy units and attack sequentially for 10 times. Now those two requirements are going to make it a little bit harder for new players to be able to utilize her as an anniversary character. If you are a new player, you're coming into this, you are going to need machine gun characters. Right now, the meta for machine gun characters is going to be Crown herself, Rapi Red Hood, which can be used for burst 1 or burst 3. You also got Modernia, you also have Asuka Willy, which is a previous recent character as well. So in terms of the burst 3, these are the machine gun characters, but the meta one is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 pretty much, right? This 4 is going to be... Rei is also meta, but she's more for fire team. Out of these 5, 3 of them are limited characters, 2 of them are going to be pilgrims. So it's going to be really hard for a new player to be able to make like a team and fully benefit Siren's capabilities of maximizing the ammo requirements thing, right? So that's going to be one of the complaints that I have. Now, even for burst 2, right, we got Crown. If you don't have Crown, I guess you can use a Romantic Mask, but even then she's gonna need the main anchor. If not, then I guess Diesel is okay, but she's not really meta. Alec is alright, but you can see the struggle right here. I think building a team for a lot of new players that are pulling for her is going to be a struggle, which I can see where the complaints are coming from. Personally, I do think that she is going to be a little bit less flexible comparatively compared to Crown. Now, if there's a selector given out between you to pick Little Mermaid or Crown, I'll probably lean towards Crown. But I do think that she probably is going to act more like a sub DPS herself. She's going to be able to do a decent damage based upon the impression that I have between this particular skill 2 right here, where she can attack sequentially for the enemy, 63% here and 85% there. So that combined together is going to do a decent damage. That's probably going to make up for the lack of being able to give insane buffs like Crown, and also, you know, flexibility is going to be much more prominent. Now, all in all, do I think Little Mermaid right here, is she a good pull? I still feel like for most players, if you care about Pilgrim, definitely she's going to be a solid one. I don't see why you wouldn't want to try to get her. I would say still try to get at least one copy. However, if you are looking to save or wait a little bit between the comparison between Little Mermaid and the next character, which is Mihara, overspec, that is a DPS character because she's a burst 3. Most likely, for a lot of players who are intermediate-ish, there's a high chance that you are going to look towards that as a whole, right? Especially if you miss out on Rapi Red Hood. Now for now, definitely I would wait a little bit and test her out and see how it goes. If you're only looking at her at just pure buffing, that's going to be how it is. But if you're looking for her to fill your role in terms of doing a little bit damage as well, and if you are a veteran player, you have all the machine gun characters, you should definitely consider getting her. She's going to help you do more damage with your solo raid team comp, alright? You are going to have that 5 burst 1 CDR character that will help you consecutively, right? So yeah, that's going to be it for this particular video. Let me know what you guys think as well regarding Siren. What do you guys think of a skill kit? Are you guys happy with it, or does it feel a little bit lacking? As per usual, subscribe if you guys haven't already. Give this video a like. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a nice day. Goodbye.